right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Live Wire. I am your host, Jared Moore, and on tonight's program, we're going to be discussing the film The Savior that is working on a Mvskoke dub. And we have with us tonight Jennifer Barnett, who is a producer on the film and also a Mvskoke citizen, and Aaron Hanzel, who I believe is the director of the Mvskoke dub. Is that right, Aaron?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. And we're going to be discussing how this idea was developed and what purpose it is. And so thanks for being on the program tonight, guys.
Yeah. You're
Whatever for
welcome.
having us.
So I guess my first question will go probably to you, Jennifer. What is the Savior, and how did the Mvskoke language get involved with it? Can you tell us the background story of the film?
Sure. The Savior is a film that is about the life of Jesus Christ. It was produced in the Middle East, and so it's got a cast that looks like the people from there, from the Bible times, and it has been translated into translated and dubbed into over 40 international languages. And so I'm thinking it was probably about 2017, 18, I believe. My father, the late Reverend Bill Barnett, he was just talking to some people, and someone who had been kind of involved with that project in a different capacity, not the filming or anything. Um, but he was just telling him about it, and my dad said, I'd love to do that. He'd always wanted to have a film like that in our Mvskoke language. And so from there, he gathered my uncle Jackson Barnett and several other elders. And when they received the script, they began to translate it. And so Mvskoke is the first North American language that will be used for this film. So we're really
Awesome.
excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I guess, and what does the film cover? What time periods for Jesus? Like, is it a specific Bible stories, or give people an idea of kind of like what they would expect to see if they saw the film?
Yeah, it'll start, if you know anyone who's familiar with the Gospel of Luke, you do see like before Jesus is born, so what's happening with his family and his mother and father, earthly father, Joseph, and then from there, his birth and into when he is an adult and his ministry. And it goes through to his crucifixion and resurrection.
Okay. And I want to remind you guys, if you're watching this, you have any questions, pop them in the YouTube chat. We'll get them asked. So the script was translated to Mvskoke, and I'm assuming some of the dub has already been recorded, or does it still need to be completed? Where are we at with that? And Aaron, if you wanted to handle that.
Yeah. Sure. So there's been two proof of concepts done already. Really, just like it sounds, to show that there's potential here. And also just to get some experience. We're I've never had any experience dubbing into other languages or working on projects like that. So yeah, there were two proof of concepts. One was in about this time last year, actually, and then the other one was around April. So they took scenes from the film to align for the nativity story. So the story of Jesus's birth and the fulfilling of prophecy, and shepherds coming to visit, the wise men coming to, like, that, all of that portion of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got through Jennifer's help, we were able to find a few folks to hop in on that project, and then the one in April was an Easter proof of concept. So the same thing, like taking scenes from the film
Hmm.
and aligning them to be the Easter story and getting those dubbed. And so as far as the full feature, that's what we're casting for now.
Okay.
So we've taken the proof of concepts to investors and to the Muskogee Nation, just so that there's something tangible that people can look at and go, oh, well, I can do that. Like that seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And
And
also
are
just to get them excited.
those the two videos that are on the website for the film right now? Is that, am I shooting straight there?
Spot on. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
So
so, audience, you guys too, there's a link in the description of this video if you want to check out what we're talking about, the website for the film. And then also, it has, if you're a Muskogee language speaker and you want to get involved with this, I think there's contact information and everything on there. You can get involved, and you can also check out these proof of concepts. So, I guess also, Aaron, I would like to, like, where are you guys at? Have you guys got that process nailed down? Are you ready to go once the funding is cleared? What hurdles are left?
yeah. So the biggest hurdle right now is casting for the full feature. There's quite a few roles to fill.
Hmm.
Um, we'll probably end up using a few voices from folks that are fluent speakers to be able to cover a couple of different roles that might be a little bit shorter, and then some that are longer will take more attention and to detail. So yeah, the biggest hurdle right now is casting. We're trying to get as many people involved with the project as possible, and um, the the funding is there. We got that part done, which is what the proof of concepts were for. And
Hmm.
but yeah, so for right now, we just need folks to reach out and get involved.
Awesome. So, and with is the website the place to go for that? Is that how you guys are doing? I know there's also, you guys got a Facebook page for the film.
Yeah, that's right. So the website has a forum and an email to be able to contact directly. Facebook, of course, messaging, we can use that as well, but we've been trying to encourage everybody to go to the website to sign up.
And I guess we should also talk about geography too. Is this an Oklahoma based project, or is it something where like people are going to have to travel somewhere? Like how's that going to be worked out?
That's a great question. Yeah, so we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. All of the producers that are involved, they're all in Oklahoma, most in Oklahoma City. So I'm in Oklahoma City. So we're trying to find even some ways to, like, hey, how can we find local studios to record
Mm,
in that are
yeah.
closer to the people. So yeah, absolutely, it is very much Oklahoma based.
Well, I'm going to drop a little plug for Another Citizen too, because I've got an interview scheduled next week with a recording studio that's in Tulsa. It's called Red Eagle Audio. Maybe I could put you guys in touch with that, assuming that they do that type of work. Maybe they could help you guys out, and then you'd have a studio on the Tulsa side that's also got a Muskogee citizen running it, and then you have a studio in a OKC side. So you guys have all your bases covered there. Um, so we know where the project is at. Once it's done, how can people see the film? Is this going to be something that's going to be in theaters, or is this going to be something that's used in ministry? Like, where is it going to go from completion?
Yeah, do you want to cover that, Jennifer?
Yeah, I mean, just like the videos we have on the website currently, the two proof of concepts,
Hmm.
we encourage churches just to use them and show them, um, you know, to reach out to people. And that's really what we want for the film as well. Our hope is to have some sort of theater premiere when it does open. I think it'll be incredible to sit there and watch it and to hear our language.
Mm.
We do offer them with the Muskogee, with the subtitles in Muskogee, or even subtitles in English as well. And so um, we want churches to use that. And at the same time, we want it to be a tool to help preserve our language and encourage the learning of it.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing too about the project that really interests me that I thought was really great is if you guys get to that stage where the film is done, right? You'll have a very valuable asset where you will have I think it was 80 different characters that have to be dubbed in the film or something like that, right? So you'll have
Yeah.
Muskogee language speakers who have experience dubbing films, like have that list, and then in theory you could take that list and just start working on any type of films. Like you could go and take major films or whatever, the Marvel films and stuff, and start dubbing whatever you can get the funding to do, and that would be amazing for the language retention and the immersion and all of those things too. So I applaud you guys, and I hope the project works out great, and anything we could do to help you. I want to remind you guys, if you have a question while you're watching this, just pop it in the chat. I don't see any questions right now. Is there anything about the film or this process that we haven't talked about already that you guys want to mention? I'll start with you, Jennifer.
Looking at this project, when I came in, I was kind of like a secretary to our elders as they were finishing and polishing the translation, and it was an honor to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I am by no means have the skills like Aaron has to really bring the project to completion. But one of my desires was to see more of our Muskogee people and our native people, our young people, to be able to have opportunities in this business and this process to be able to contribute to this. And so, I really appreciate you, throwing out a name there for, another one of our people, because, in my experience, even as an educator, our young people don't always have the networks to be able to reach out to people or to even know, hey, there's somebody over there that works in this. And, even if they aren't Muskogee, but they're native, I know that you want to reach out and help them and be able to provide them an opportunity to get experience.
Yeah.
And so, that is, one huge thing there that, that I really wanted in this process. But two, just something that the quality of the film is great. I'm excited about that, but just also that this is a story that is so impactful, and that I really want it to be out there for our people and our churches to be able to use.
Yeah. Aaron, I wanted to ask you a question that came to me while we were just now talking. It seems, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not fluent in Muskogee. It seems like that would be like a hurdle you'd need to overcome if you're like directing the person doing the dub. How did you handle that situation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think going into the project, initially, I just wanted to get involved. Like my desire to be able to honor God and to be able to preserve native languages. It was so strong that I was like, I will find a way.
Right.
Get me on this project. Let me help. I don't know how I'm going to help. And as we've gone through the proof of concepts, I've found one that the skill set of being able to just help direct and maintain what's on screen, to be able to hear and notice nuances of language and performance. And then just being able to make judgment calls on the fly of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, here's how we need to shift or adjust because this thing is working or this thing isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
But I also find myself being a student of the language. Like it's so beautiful to listen to and to learn. We've got a few people that that help as far as dialect and pronunciation,
Hmm.
and it's really awesome to be around.
So let's say somebody signs up for the project. What can they expect? Like they get to the studio. Like how long do you have like a set amount of time that you're doing sessions for, or is it something where you're booking them for a day and say, come in, we're gonna do this many lines, or what are the nuts and bolts there so far that you've got established?
Yeah, I think it's very role specific.
Mm-hmm.
How many lines we have to be able to cover. We did some audition tapes before, so we could just be able to see and hear how people um, handle the lines, to be able to recite the lines,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really helpful for us to be able to go, okay, well, we know that X amount of lines, if we do them 4 or 5 times, will take us X amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just learning from the proof of concepts have helped give us a good gauge of that.
Okay. Jennifer, has the language program at the Muskogee Creek Nation government, the language department, have they been involved in this process? Or is this totally independent from them, or do you want to see them get involved? Like, what's your take on that?
We have had some involvement with them and had people come and do voice a couple of the characters,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's been a great help. But as much as we can, any support from the nation is always great, and so I know that I've talked to Chief about it some, and it's an exciting thing, to for them to see that and hear that, and I know they've seen the proofs of concepts, and it's something to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess let's see where we're at. We're almost about 20 minutes, and normally we go for about 30 minutes, so we're past the halfway point. I don't see any questions in there. We did have a comment from Flatfish Fever 96 says, God bless you all, so I wanted to pass that on to you guys. Um, how involved have the Muskogee Nation churches been with the project? Is there like networking happening there on that end? Because there are a lot of Indian churches and they have a long history with the preserving the language through hymns and stuff. What has that involvement been like, Jennifer?
It's really been reaching out to different individuals who are
Mm-hmm.
in those churches, and some of it is even trying to reach them. And so I've been able to send out through some, through an association of some of the Baptist churches, but to even just continue to get the word out there to people. I think that tends to be a hurdle for us, because there isn't always just like one place to go. I try and
Mm-hmm.
go in, even message on Facebook and get word out. And it's kind of like all of us. You get it on your phone and you look at it and you're like, man, that's awesome, and I'm going to share that. And then then
Right.
you get in your car and you're looking at it and you forget later and all. And so you know we love more people to really get involved, at some level, and reach out to us. And um, because we whether it is being a voice in the for the film itself, or to be someone to get the word out. And that's really been a help. We had an ad in our um, Muskogee Nation paper, and
Mm-hmm.
that cultivated people to reach out to some other people to say, hey, you need to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And so, please, if you know anyone out there, who would love to do this. And as Aaron said, we do have smaller roles, and um, we're taking people who, you may not have the best fluency, but some Muskogee, and to be a part of it and to voice, some of these smaller roles. We need you. We definitely need you.
Absolutely. and it is a historic thing what's happening here. So it would be great to get in on that, be recorded in history. Because I'm not for sure. I don't want to say this for sure because I haven't done the research on it, but it might be the first major film that's been dubbed in Muskogee once it's done. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it's definitely in the modern era the only one that I've heard of. So it would be one of the few for sure. So is there anything that we need to touch on, because we're getting close to wrap time, before we wrap, from about the project that we haven't talked about? We've talked about where you guys are at, where you need more people to come in, and the funding aspects of it. There's 2 proof of concepts out. Is there anything that we haven't covered that's essential information?
Yeah, I think one of the things, while we were working on the second proof of concept, as we were talking in the team of everybody that's working on it, we kind of came up with this idea of like, well, what if, in the film there are scenes with Luke narrating the story, and there'll be cutaways to him constantly, to be able to come back, and he kind of gives some narration or gives some like story additions to what's happening on screen. And we had the idea of like, well, what if we wrote new scenes? Like, what if we added someone telling the story in Muskogee, and even if it's as simple as like a storytelling night. And so we put together a short script and sent it to all the folks that had funded everything so far, and they were like, yeah, we love it. So we're going to film some additional scenes for the movie, with Muskogee people and Muskogee actors. And we're going to shoot that, not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Oh wow, where are you guys shooting at?
It's at Camp Sooner. It's I don't know how far away that is from everything, because it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but it's like probably like 30 to 45 minutes outside the city towards Shawnee.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and I'm glad that you're doing that too, because that while you were just describing it, what popped into my mind too is kind of like you could even have scenes that's like in an Indian church with the pastor giving a sermon on whichever section they're talking about, and do that too. Like, that's a great idea, and it's also a great way to expand the film and get some native faces in there as opposed to like just dubbing the voices. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the program tonight. I love the project. I love the idea behind the project, and keep me posted on it. And anytime you guys have a development, or if the project gets stuck or anything, and you want to reach out again to people, please hit me up, send me an email. We'll have you back on the program and say, hey guys, here's where you can go see it, or here's where you can get the finished product, or here's how you can get involved either on the money side or on the language side. And thanks for being in tonight.
Thank you for having us on.
Okay, so guys, I didn't see any questions pop up. I want to give you a rundown of what's happening next week real quick. On Monday, we're going to have a live wire at 6 p.m. about the Casey alert, the new missing Indigenous persons alert. And Brenda Golden's going to be coming on the program for that. So tune in at 6 p.m. for that. If you have any questions, as usual, pop them in the chat. Sometime during the week, I'm going to be uploading that Red Eagle audio video that's going to be a feature about that citizen and his recording studio and also his audio work. And then on Friday, we're going to be having another Lawyered Up, and our special guest on that is going to be Mr. Ron Graham. So you guys want to tune in and ask Ron Graham any questions you want, that's the time to do it. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching tonight, and we'll see you next time. Mado, Chihichath, Lees.